Hi Leo, welcome to your love reading for September 2019. Let's go ahead and see what is going on for you for the month of September. The first card that you have, Leo, is Strength. Love reading for the sign of Leo for September. Six of Cups. Love reading for the sign of Leo for September. Three of Swords. Love reading for the sign of Leo for September. Five of Swords. Love reading for the sign of Leo for September. Judgment. Love reading for the sign of Leo for September. Ace of Cups. Love reading for the sign of Leo for September. The Hangman. Love reading for the sign of Leo for September. Eight of Swords. Love reading for the sign of Leo for September. Seven of Cups. What's the most important thing that Leo needs to hear about their love life for September 2019? The message that you have, Leo, is the Ace of Wands. So the Ace of Wands is saying there can be a new beginning. And my goodness, you have a lot of things going on in this spread. I see a lot of challenges for you, but the Ace of Wands is saying there can be a new beginning for you. For some of you, this can even be a new opportunity, a new person, a new relationship coming into your life. So let's go ahead and begin. If you would like a private reading with me, just go to my website, Channel Guidance, and I'll put a link down below in the comments. Okay, so let's go ahead and start at the top, and let's see what the cards want to tell you for September. So you're starting off with the Strength card. I mean, this can definitely represent your energy because Strength does represent the sign of Leo. I see that you're completely heartbroken here. You have the Three of Swords. I feel like either you're going through a breakup, you're going through a divorce, or you're just kind of really heartbroken that you're separated from someone that you love. And you have the Six of Cups here. So the Six of Cups does represent the past, someone from the past. Perhaps you're longing for an ex. Perhaps you're longing for, kind of a soulmate. The Six of Cups can be a soulmate energy. I just feel like the sign of Leo is really hurting here. You're hurting because you're separated from someone that you love. Keep in mind that the Three of Swords can also just mean that maybe you're still together, but there's something kind of really painful happening in the relationship. It can be a lot of arguments, a lot of challenges. Something is kind of tearing you apart as far as the person that you love. But I do feel like for many of you, you're longing for the past. Now you want to be careful here because you have the Five of Swords, Judgment, and the Ace of Cups. So the reason I say be careful is because this is telling me that there can be a new beginning for you. There can be a new beginning, and this totally ties in with the main energy. You have the Ace of Wands. This is a new beginning, a clean slate. Perhaps, with this relationship, with this person that you're heartbroken over. There is the energy here of a new beginning, and one of them is a major arcana, so there can be a second chance. But is that the right decision for you? Because the Five of Swords can be that maybe you do get back together, and you're happy for, because you have this person back. But the Five of Swords can be an empty victory. It could be that you get this person back and you have the same issues, or perhaps there is, another breakup, the same conflict, the same drama. You want to be careful, but there is a chance here of a new beginning. Now, with the Five of Swords, I mean, this is one of my least favorite cards because it just represents negative energy. It can be just as challenging as the Devil when you see it in a love reading. It can also be, because it's with new beginnings, I just feel like you have to be careful because I feel like you're longing for something from the past here. You're longing for someone from the past with the Three of Swords next to the Six of Cups. And it could be maybe that because I see you're confused. Let me just show you what I'm looking at down here. You've got the Seven of Cups. Maybe you're confused over why something ended. You're in a very emotional place. Seven of Cups and the Three of Swords. You're in a very emotional place. You also have the Eight of Swords down here. You feel completely helpless. You feel like, this person is gone and there's nothing that I can do to bring them back. Or maybe they won't listen to you. You feel like your hands are tied behind your back. You also have the Hangman down here. My goodness, you have the Hangman. You feel like you're completely in limbo. You feel like you're just stuck. You can't change your situation. That's written all over this reading. But again, it's like you're focusing on a new beginning. Now, don't hate me for this, but for some of you could be focusing on a new beginning, and that could actually be the worst thing that you could be doing because the Five of Swords can represent self-sabotage. It could be that maybe this person is gone for a reason and trying to kind of, bring this relationship back to life, which would be Judgment, could actually be working against you. It would be you kind of being your own worst enemy. But I do feel like you're in a very kind of confused and very emotional place with the Seven of Cups. For some of you, this can even represent, a choice. Perhaps you're choosing between partners. Maybe you're leaving someone else to be with another person and you don't know what to do. I definitely see that with the Seven of Cups. I just feel like the sign of Leo, you feel helpless is what I'm getting from this card. You feel like there is really nothing that you can do about your situation. You're feeling completely in limbo. Okay, let me get a few more cards so I can get an idea of what we're talking about here. What other messages are there for the sign of Leo for September? What other messages are there for the sign of Leo for September? What other messages are there for the sign of Leo for September? Yeah, I feel like you can definitely be happy again. That's why the main energy, it was the Ace of Wands here. There can be a new beginning, a new life, a new partner. But I do feel like you have to focus on yourself first. You have the Nine of Pentacles here. This is about self-worth and self-love. This is you putting yourself first. This is you making decisions that are actually good for you. This is making decisions that are just going to come back to haunt you. So you have a choice. What are you going to do? Are you going to choose yourself, to focus on yourself? So eventually you can have this happily ever after from the Ten of Cups, or this happy relationship, or this happy marriage. You also have victory here with the Six of Wands. But I do feel for the sign of Leo that you're going through something really painful. You feel stuck, you feel trapped, you feel helpless. Some of you, maybe you're heartbroken over a divorce, or you're heartbroken over a breakup. You're focusing on the past, you're longing for the past. But really, for now, the Nine of Pentacles is saying that you really have to do what's best for you. That is the only way for you to have this victory. Even though you are struggling, and I do see a lot of struggling, I feel like you just feel like they won't listen to me. I can't do anything. I can't change this. Still, you have this new beginning here. And for some of you, it can be that there can still be a new beginning with the person that you want back in your life. But for many of you, it can just be a new relationship that is coming up for you. Okay, let's get a few more cards from the confirmation deck, and let's see what comes up here. What other messages are there for the sign of Leo for September? See, you've got the Three of Swords 2 times, which tells me that you're heartbroken right now. What other messages are there for the sign of Leo? My goodness, you have the Hangman again. What other messages are there for the sign of Leo for September? The Three of Wands. What's the most important thing that Leo needs to hear about their love life for September 2019? Yeah, the Four of Swords. This is telling you that you have to heal. Because I feel like the sign of Leo is, you're hurting. Look at this. Three of Swords 2 times and the Four of Swords. So the Four of Swords is telling you that you have to heal first. I feel like you've been through something extremely painful, like a divorce that you did not want, a breakup that you did not want. There's heartache here with the Three of Swords 2 times. Also, you have the Hangman 2 times. So with the Hangman, you're stuck. It's the same energy as the card right beside it here, the Eight of Swords. You feel stuck in your current situation. You feel like there's no way to fix this. There's no way for me to change my partner's mind. It could be that maybe it's your mind that needs to be changed, because the Hangman is actually all about perception, the way that you're thinking. So it could be that maybe you need to start thinking of other opportunities. Maybe you need to start thinking of yourself. With the Nine of Pentacles here. So, I feel here we've got the Three of Swords, the Hangman, and the Three of Wands. So perhaps again, focusing on a breakup, or just being extremely heartbroken over, someone from the past, where you feel like there's no changing, there's no going back. You can't change their mind. You do have this message from the Three of Wands that perhaps waiting is involved. The Three of Wands is saying that perhaps, things could change in the future, but first there has to be healing with the Four of Swords. You have a lot to think about, which definitely makes sense with the Nine of Pentacles, because I feel like this is you. You have to put yourself first. You have to really focus on you, because with the Three of Swords popping up here 2 times tells me that you're really heartbroken. And it could be that, focusing on a new beginning right now could actually, be a very bad decision for you with the Five of Swords. This could be a decision that you regret. I see you being very confused over what happened in a relationship or why it ended. and feeling, you know, just completely stuck. Both of these cards right next to each other, stuck and trapped. Like, why did they leave? How do I fix this? How do I get them back? Perhaps for now you need to kind of focus on yourself. You have a lot to think about. Take time to heal. Perhaps in the future there would be a new beginning for you, a new opportunity, which actually was the main energy with the Ace of Wands. Okay, so let's see if anything else stands out here before we move on to the X spread. So one thing that I do see is that you have quite a few threes. Let's see here. You've got the Three of Swords twice, 2, and the Three of Wands, which is also a 3. So you have 3 threes. The threes do represent growth and expansion. So I feel like a relationship, like it's, if there's been a breakup or there's a lot of struggling in a relationship, there's a lot of growing that has to do so that you can work things out. Because I mean, you do have a strong energy here of a new beginning, but it could just be that maybe right now is not the right timing with the Three of Wands. This is all about future energy. I feel like the more that you try to push for like a reunion, like now, you're just going to hit a brick wall. I feel like it won't happen. There is waiting involved. Okay, so let's go ahead and move on to the X spread. Let's see what comes up for you there. And as always with the X spread, it can be someone that you had a long-term committed relationship with, but it can even be someone that you just dated a few times and you know if you're going to hear from them again. So let's see what comes up for you there. Show me the energies around Leo and their ex for September 2018. Look at this. My goodness. The first card is the Three of Swords, which you actually had as a repeat card in the first spread. Show me Leo, your energies around Leo and their ex for September. Knight of Pentacles. Leo and their ex for September. 10 of Swords. Leo and their ex for September. The Wheel. Leo and their ex for September. 4 of Wands. Leo and their ex for September. The Moon. Leo and their ex for September. 8 of Wands. Leo and their ex for September. 3 of Pentacles. Leo and their ex for September. 9 of Pentacles again. Okay, so let's take a look at this and let's see what this means for you and for your ex. I mean, the one thing that really stands out here is that you have the Three of Swords again, because this was a repeat card for you in the first spread. It came up, in fact, here they are right here. It came up in the confirmation deck, and it was actually in the very first spread that I used. So here you go. You have the Three of Swords 3 times, ironically. So, I mean, I feel like there's still a lot of painful energy around you and your ex. It could be that it's not just for you. It could be that the energy is so strong because it's not just you who is hurting. It could be that that person is hurting as well. I mean, there's a lot of confusing energy. You've got the Moon. So for some of you, your ex could be a Pisces, because that represents the sign of, well, the Moon represents the sign of Leo. But also it could be that there's a lot of confusing energy, which you did have in the first spread with the Seven of Cups. The Seven of Cups is the same energy as the Moon, except the Moon is a major arcana. There's a lot of confusion around you and your ex. I mean, there can still be the fact that we're asking about an ex, someone who's no longer in your life. And I mean, the cards have made it very clear that it's over with the Three of Swords coming up so many times. Yet you still have the Four of Wands right in the center of the reading. The Four of Wands does represent commitment, a long-term relationship or marriage. And again, there is a lot of confusion here, but keep in mind that the Moon can also be telling you that maybe there's a lot of things you don't know about your ex. There could be a lot of things going on in their life that maybe you know nothing about. You have the Wheel here, which is, you know, telling you that there can be a positive change with your ex. There can be a lot of movement around your relationship in the month of September. But you do have to be patient. You have the Knight of Pentacles. This is slow movement, slow progress. Maybe because, you know, there was something very painful. Again, the cards have been very clear, crystal clear, that there's been something very painful that happened for the sign of Leo with an ex. There's a lot of pain here. The Three of Swords 3 times. And you have, you know, this 10 of Swords. Maybe there was a betrayal. Maybe someone was deeply hurt. Now keep in mind, for some of you, the 10 of Swords, don't get mad, but the 10 of Swords usually does mean it's time. It's time for you to move on. So for some of you, again, and this is a general reading, so some of you maybe you're not meant to move on yet because there's still hope, which we see here. But for others, like, you already know. You know if it's time to move on. You know if you keep hitting a brick wall and you know it's over, then you should probably just move on. That's the message of the Ten of Swords. It's time. Move on so you can be happy. But for others, maybe if this is like an ex where you were married, there were children, there is maybe a lot of things you don't understand with the moon. There could be a lot of confusion, perhaps a lot of secrets that you don't know. There is some unexpected energy here with the Eight of Wands. So the Eight of Wands always implies that, you're waiting, which you actually did had in the first. You had this in the first spread with the Three of Wands, which is very similar. There could be a surprise twist around your ex, but you do have to focus on yourself. Nine of Pentacles again. You had this in the first spread. You have to put yourself first. Because I see, as far as your ex, that maybe you have gone the extra mile to try to make things work, or to try to get them back. That's what I see with the Three of Pentacles. You've done everything. You have done everything. But you actually just need to focus on yourself for now. It could be that, again, if things are meant to happen, and for some of you they are, it's going to be slow progress here with the Knight of Pentacles. Okay, so let me get a few more. Let's see what other messages come up for you. What other messages are there for the sign of Leo as far as their ex for September 2019? Five of Pentacles, Leo and their ex. Leo and their ex. Okay. So again, painful energy. Three of Swords 3 times, and now the Five of Pentacles. So, this tells me that there is a lot of suffering going on, and I feel like it's you. I feel like it is a sign of Leo. Like, you're highly upset, maybe because you're confused over how things ended and you feel so helpless. That's everything that we saw in the first spread. I feel here with the Five of Pentacles that maybe you're suffering in silence, you're lonely, you feel just kind of really disconnected from everybody. With the Nine of Wands, again, maybe you're very cautious when it comes to your ex. Maybe you're afraid that you're not going to be able to get them back, but you do have the Star here. The Star does mean that, what you want can actually manifest. The Star is hopes and wishes being granted. This can also represent the sign of Aquarius. So if your ex is an Aquarius, then this is definitely speaking to you. But the Star also means you need to trust and follow your inner guidance. That's why I said for some of you, you are meant to reunite. The Wheel and the Four of Wands. But for others, do what's best for you here. The Ten of Swords is saying you've suffered enough. Please, please, please move on. That's what the Ten of Swords is saying. Again, you got to trust your inner guidance here with the Star. But for many of you, this just represents your hopes and wishes being granted. Okay, let's get a few more cards here from the other deck, and let's see what other messages come up for you. What other messages are there for the sign of Leo about their ex for September? You have the World, Leo and their ex for September. So the Two of Swords jump for you. Leo and their ex for September, and the Ace of Swords. Okay, so let me look at this. I feel like the World is telling you that there is there is a whole new life. There's a whole new chapter waiting for you. But it could be that you don't want to see this. It's interesting that you've got the Two of Swords and the Ace of Swords when you actually had the Hangman as a repeat card in the first spread. And again, I told you the Hangman, it was there 2 times. The Hangman represents, the Hangman is hanging upside down because he needs to change the way that he's thinking. Ace of Swords. So I feel like for many of you, it's time for a new chapter in your life, and it could be maybe that this is something you do not want to admit with the Two of Swords. You don't want to see this. I feel like this definitely applies to those of you where it's just time to move on. Because in an X spread, there's no way to sugarcoat the Ten of Swords. So I said, don't be mad at me, but the Ten of Swords does mean that it's time. You don't realize it, but it's just time for you to move on. It could be that some of you don't want to hear this with the Two of Swords. This is someone who is just nope, I don't care what you're saying. I'm not changing my mind. I'm not moving on. With the world, there is a whole new chapter, but you do need to close an old chapter in order for you to move on. Again, I see a change of mind here, a change of perspective. Now, it can be, again, it's a general reading. It can be that maybe there could be a new chapter with your ex, because you do have the Four of Wands and the Wheel. There can be a positive change in a relationship, but somebody's going to have to change the way that they're thinking. So if you're thinking, me and my ex, we are going to reunite, maybe they've been kind of giving you, signs that maybe they will take you back. Maybe you're in the middle of talking about things. So there's definitely kind of, messages for you there that you might reunite. If like this will apply to you as well. If there's going to be a whole new chapter for you and for your ex, which is the World, then somebody's going to have to compromise. You won't move forward with the Two of Swords, because this is someone who will not change, who's not going to change their mind. They're not going to make a decision. They're not budging. Somebody's going to have to change their mind with the Ace of Swords being here. It could also be that maybe your ex needs clarity as far as maybe their feelings for you, in order for there to be a new chapter with the World. So let me see what else stands out here. Well, another thing that I see here again is that you've got the Three of Swords and the Three of Pentacles. Remember that in the first spread you had the Three of Swords, and there was another 3 there. You had 3 number 3s. And the 3s, again, they represent growth and expansion. So it could be that this relationship with your ex just needs, a lot of growing. Perhaps there's a lot of misunderstandings. And my goodness, you do have the Moon here, and you had the 7 of Cups in the first spread. There's a lot of confusion. There's a lot of uncertainty. There's a lack of clarity with your ex. So for some of you, you just have to be patient. There's slow progress here as far as movement here. For those of you where things are meant to work out. But also, this is a double message. You had this in the first spread. You do have to put yourself first with the 9 of Pentacles. You have to value yourself. And you have to trust your inner guidance. You have the Star. Follow your inner guidance. Are you meant to move on, or are you meant to wait? Because I know you did have the 3 of Wands in the first spread, which is, kind of saying for some of you, it could be that in time, all of this could work itself out. You could still have that commitment, that positive change. Trust your inner guidance. Okay, Leo, this has been your love reading for September 2019. Hope you enjoyed it, and I'll speak to you again next month.